This is my review of the Rolling Stones album England's Newest Hitmakers. It was released in 1964 and produced by Eric Easton and Andrew Oldham. So I'm doing all the American versions of these albums. At least I'm pretty sure that's all the ones I have are the American versions. I don't know, I might have another or a British version in there somewhere, but since I bought all of them here, I'm pretty sure they're all the American versions. So this is an album I've had for a long time. When I was first getting into rock music, I think at the time I was into The Who and Pink Floyd and stuff, and I was working at a summer camp, and I started talking to one of my coworkers about different rock bands and stuff, and he would talk about the Rolling Stones a lot. And I was kind of like, well, where should I start with the Rolling Stones if I want to get into them? What's a good album? And he was like, oh, just get a greatest hits. So at some point, I went to the store and got a greatest hits. I can't remember when exactly, but it was, I think, or not greatest hits. I went to the store to find a greatest hits. Couldn't find one, so I ended up getting a live album, Flashpoint, I believe it was, which I think is still the only live album of theirs I have. And so for a long time, that was my only Rolling Stones album, and I listened to it a lot. I liked a lot of the songs on there. And then from there, the next one I got was Exile on Main Street, and then I think Their Satanic Majesty's Request was my second one. I'm pretty sure this was my third, because kind of I got those two studio albums by them, and Exile, I'll get into it more when I review that, but it took me a long time to get into. Their Satanic Majesty's Request I got into really fast, and from there I kind of had no idea where to go with them. I knew they had a huge discography, so I'm just like, well, I'll start at the beginning. So I was in the FYE store one day and I found this. I can't remember exactly when it would have been, but I ended up buying it and was a little disappointed with it. Not that I've ever thought it was a bad album or anything. I think just compared to some of their other stuff, with it being pretty much all covers, just one original, it's never been my favorite album of theirs, but I've listened to it a lot. I do think it was kind of a mistake for me to get it so early, because my next album that I got was their second one, because I was just like, well, I'm going to go in order for a while. And then I kind of stopped with that approach, because I'm like, these early ones might not be for me. But yeah, anyway, I'm kind of rambling. So yeah, this album, I think my initial impression of it's been essentially my same opinion all the way through. I think it's a good album. I think their playing and everything is good, the performances and stuff. But it's such a formative album, with all being covers and things, that it just doesn't quite reach what they were capable of, I don't feel like. The album opens with Not Fade Away, Buddy Holly cover, and I'm not going to mention who all the covers are written by. I'm just mentioning this one because I'm familiar with the original song, because a lot of these songs I'm not familiar with the originals. But anyway, Not Fade Away I think is a good version. Kind of has more of an edge to it than the Buddy Holly version with these guys doing it. I like the harmonica. So I think a strong opener and one of my more favorite tracks on the album. Second track, Route 66, is fine. Not my favorite song ever, but they give a good performance. I like the guitars in it. The third track, I Just Want to Make Love to You. This one I like more than Route 66. I like the performance on it. I like the harmonica. I think mixed vocals pretty good. And I forgot the lineup for anybody who doesn't know. I always usually mention the lineups. But you have Mick Jagger on vocals, Keith Richards and Brian Jones on guitar, Bill Wyman on bass, and Charlie Watts on drums. And also, I kind of forgot to mention, I think, to me at least, the thing that has always, I do really like the Stones, and I really like a lot of their albums, but they've never been a top 10 band for me, and I think really kind of what that is, or the reason for that really is that I'm not the biggest fan of Mick Jagger as a lead singer, just as far as his voice. I do think he's really good. He has a lot of performances that I like. And I think he's a great performer, obviously a great songwriter, but just from a vocal standpoint, I don't think that he's quite as great of a singer as some other frontmans in some other bands. So anyway, kind of random rant in the middle here. The fourth track, Honest I Don't, or Honest I Do. Slow song. I like the drum fills in it. Pretty good, but not much to say about it other than that. The fifth track, Now I've Got a Witness, an instrumental. Has some keyboards in it, not bad, but it doesn't really like excite me a whole lot. The sixth track, Little by Little. I like the harmonica in this one. I like the guitar solo. Just the overall performance of it's good. The drums kind of stand out. The seventh track, I'm a King Bee. This one's pretty cool. I think it's a catchy song. Bass kind of cool because he does that boom thing. So yeah, I like that one. The eighth track, Carol. This one I like a lot. It's a catchy song. Good performance from the band. I like the guitars a lot. The ninth track, Tell Me, is the only song that's written by Mick and Keith on here. And it's more poppy than everything else they do on the album. And it's always easily been my favorite track, not just because they wrote it. Just like the first time I was listening through, it was the one that I was like, oh, that one, oh, I want to listen to that one again. And really, this is the only song that I go back to with any like regularity on this album. So pretty easily my favorite track. The 10th track, Can I Get a Witness? This one's fine, has some piano, not much to say about it other than that. The 11th track, You Can Make It If You Try, good, not much more to say. And then the 12th and final track, Walking the Dog. It's an okay closer, pretty easily my least favorite track on the album, and it really just comes down to like the whistling that they do on it. Just kind of irritates me. But there are like bits and pieces of it that I like. So not a terrible closer, but pretty easily my least favorite thing on the album. So yeah, England's Newest Hitmakers. Not a great place to start there, as I probably shouldn't have got it so early. I would recommend like only checking this one out after you've listened to all their better albums and are like already kind of a fan, and then like going back to it, because really I think this is mostly interesting from like a historical perspective of seeing where they came from. They haven't like fully formed into what they would become here. Just a bunch of covers mainly, and the original Tell Me is really the only track that I would like highly recommend seeking out from this. So not a bad album, not a great